the reason why we've had a lot of success with Black Women Will is we've understood the power of partnership and collaboration. So if we were doing this ourselves, because you think we're preparing wills and healthcare directives for people for free. I am not a lawyer. Could not do these documents on my own, even if I wanted to. But what I did know was once we had the idea of, oh no, we're going to prepare documents for women for free. Oh, we're going to do this in Georgia. I immediately knew who I needed to get help from. Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to welcome you back to another episode of the Thank Me Later show with me, your host, Jini Thornton, where we help you transform your life and master your money. And listen, I am so excited. The transformation and mastery that we are focused on today is that new idea that you have. Like, how do you take it from an idea to actually creating a thing, turning it into a thing? So you see, I'm kind of rocking my paraphernalia today. Got a little Black Women Will paraphernalia. And I decided to wear this for this episode today because this was that little idea that I had that turned into a really big thing. And now we are coming into our 4th year of Black Women Will. So I'll give you a little background of what it is, but also how we got started and how you can use some of the very same steps that I have used over and over again to take my ideas and allow them to become real things. So anyway, Black Women Will, if you're not sure about what Black Women Will is and what we do, it was an idea. And I had started hearing from a lot of people around the country, people who listen to me on radio, and they would call me when someone in their life had passed away. You know, their parent had passed away, a sibling, a child had passed away, and they were always looking for my help and direction. And I was like, what is going on? Why is this such a crazy time for folks? Why don't people have their documents and paperwork and things in order? And then instead of just listening to the problem and helping people one by one, I'm like, maybe we can actually help with this. I was like, I want to help people prepare their wills. I want to give people the gift that my mother gave to me when she passed away. Like, everything was perfectly in order. Every document, I knew where everything was. I knew every important person. I just kind of thought that this gift was typical, not realizing that it was not this way at all. So Black Women Will just kind of started off as this idea. But I need to go back several years, how it ended up becoming this, because I didn't start with Black Women Will. Back in the early 2000s, I used to do this show called Money Talks, and I did it with Hot 97.5. Then they became Hot 107.9 in Atlanta. And I used to do this free tax preparation day. And again, it just started off as like this idea. It was this idea of like, hey, I'm a CPA. How can we have some real impact on the community and help? And doing tax day, did that for 10 years. And just learning how to do tax day, learning how to do events helped me get ready. That was my preparation for Black Women Will. Because essentially I knew I could do Black Women Will because I had done tax day before. Right? So I had just been kind of learning the skills, learning what to do to bring these ideas to life. So let me give you a few key pointers that really have helped me be able to create, to take something from something in your head and then it actually manifests into something. So first point that's really important that I want you to know, please start small. I hear from a lot of people and they have these big, amazing, grandiose ideas that they want to execute. And I think it's a good idea. When we started Black Women Will, our first year, we helped 25 women. 4 years later, we're going to help 250 women. in one day, but we started small. And part of starting small was an opportunity for us to kind of work the kinks out. Like we weren't taking on too much. So it was our time to see, you know, kind of proof of concept, but also not be too overwhelmed with what we were doing. So be okay with starting small. Remember, it's just a starting place. So be okay with that. I see people trying to take on too much. Second point, the reason why we've had a lot of success with Black Women Will is we've understood the power of partnership and collaboration. So if we were doing this ourselves, because you think we're preparing wills and healthcare directives for people for free. I am not a lawyer. Could not do these documents on my own, even if I wanted to. But what I did know was once we had the idea of, oh no, we're going to prepare documents for women for free. Oh, we're going to do this in Georgia. I immediately knew who I needed to get help from. So my first call was to GABWA, the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. And when I told them what our vision was, they were like, oh my gosh, you need to talk to Atlanta Legal Aid. Atlanta Legal Aid was like, oh my gosh, you need to talk to the Georgia Association of Paralegals. And then it just kind of went on. Oh my gosh, you need to meet Fulton County Probate Court. Everybody connected me to somebody else, and we became this collaborative event. So of course, you know, it's our vision. It's our baby. We're leading it, but we are collaborating with so many different people and organizations. I see people trying to hold on to it all to themselves, trying to accomplish it all by themselves. It is way too much work to do it that way. It is way, way, way too much work to do that way. You want to lean into people who have the skill set, have the resources, have the know-how, and then that way it allows you to skip so many steps. So that's why in 4 short years, we've been able to have the impact that we've been able to have, get the sponsorship level that we've been able to get, and also really become a major significant event in Metro Atlanta. But it's been the power of our partnership and collaboration. So absolutely, I want you to lean into that. So back when I was doing tax day, it was the same concept. I had several partners. One was the IRS, and they have a VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. So started, you know, leaning in with them. I'm like, I need computers and software. They took care of that. Then we had it at Greenbrier Mall, which is in Metro Atlanta. There was a chapter of Delta Sigma Theta that met at Greenbrier Mall. Once they knew that we were coming, they were doing this free tax prep event. They became our main partner organization for all of our volunteers, feeding everybody, you know, helping get people checked in, taking care of all of our CPAs who are preparing returns. Listen, y'all, I'm an AKA. These deltas were absolutely amazing, but it's not like, oh, I can't work with them. No, that was their host sites where they hosted their meetings. That was the area of Atlanta that they were trying to have impact on. Partnering with the deltas was absolutely huge for us. So the same concept. I'm like, partnership matters, having all those connecting points. The other thing too that I see people do wrong is you're focused on the thing. For example, like you're trying to do an event. You're not thinking about all the pre-work that has to happen and the post-work that has to happen after the event too. I think that's another reason why we've had so much success. I was meeting with my niece Jini earlier today, and we're preparing for Black Women Will. And everything that we were talking about was really related to after the event. Like, we're not done at the day of. Like, we're not done until we've had all of the meetings with all of our organizations after the fact. How do we do? What are our takeaways? Every item has to be labeled, packed away appropriately. There are so many steps to the after piece that everybody just wants to bypass. You're like, oh, you want to get your event done, your thing done, and it's done. You have to redefine done. And that will also help you get the momentum you need, the feedback that you need, the organization that you're going to need to be able to do your event over and over again, but also better each time. It's all about logistics to me. And so my husband, David, he said this to me yesterday. He was like, I don't understand how you can think about something and then you could just execute it like that. But I'm like, I'm constantly like in my head, I'm like, I know exactly what to do. But now it's about getting it out of your head and literally having a system or a process that you're going to follow, whether you're using some sort of Google Sheet or Excel, like literally laying out the steps and beginning to tick down the list of all the things that have to happen. Because again, it's about your kicking off your business, selling your first product, creating the product, creating the event, whatever your goal is. But like, what are the steps that are going to need to happen before that? And what are the things you're going to have to do to keep it going? And what's your feedback loop? You know, how are you getting the feedback that you need to make sure that you're being successful? So again, remember, start small. All right. Be okay with starting small. Please be okay with partnering and collaborating with folks. And then remember, stay focused on the thing. Don't lose sight of the thing, the goal. Because again, it's easy to get distracted, and be okay with using the resources and tools that you're going to need to get things going. So if you need some resources, because a lot of what I'm talking about is just really some of the basics of entrepreneurship, I really want you to engage with our Thank Me Later community. So you can go to thankmelater.money, and we have a ton of resources that are going to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. Because you're going to need some support. Because I think entrepreneurship, this is one thing that people don't talk about. Entrepreneurship can be very lonely. Because, yeah, you may know a lot of entrepreneurs, but it's not this perfectly laid out like school. You know, that's why a lot of people do good in school, high school, college, go to college and kill it. Then they get in the real world and they're like struggling because no one has just given them the plan. No one has given them the plan. So we have some of those resources for you within our Thank Me Later community that we want you to take full advantage of. But also be okay with creating some community around you, because you're going to need some support as you are bringing this to life. Last thing I want to share with you, because listen, this is a super short episode, just kind of dropping some jewels for you just to help support you on your journey. One thing that I also had to learn as an entrepreneur with my ideas, I only could tell them to certain people, you know, because a lot of people didn't have the level of vision that I had, you know, because what I wanted to do didn't seem like it was possible for some people. And other, you know, you have to be careful of the people. It's not that they're just naysayers. They just may not have the same skill set and capability that you have. So I've always kind of held things kind of close. Now that I've matured, I think I have a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swagger. But when I started in business, I would not talk to anybody about anything because I was just so unsure of myself. So I want to make sure that, you know, you're protecting, you know, your ideas and the things that you want to do, but also that you are sharing it with the few people who are going to be your cheerleaders and support you with your journey and along the way where you are going. All right. So again, make sure that you are tuning in with all of our content. Another thing, listen, I got my Black Woman Will shirt on. I didn't even tell y'all when it's going to happen this year. It's going to take place Saturday, November 16th in Atlanta. We are actually opening up registration on Juneteenth this year. We typically always open up on Juneteenth. So if you are in Metro Atlanta and you know someone who needs to get their documents prepared, please have them go to blackwomanwill.com. Maybe you want to volunteer with us. You can go to blackwomanwill.com. Maybe you're an attorney. We're going to need about 150 attorneys this year. Please go to blackwomanwill.com. So listen, when I talk about collaboration and help, we are a volunteer-driven organization. So we need you all to lean in with us as we impact Black families for generations. Okay? As we impact families for generations. So one last thing before I was getting ready to wrap up. As you're thinking about your idea, I want you also to be thinking about where's their need or demand. So, again, we've had a lot of success with Black Women Will. And we did another event a couple of months ago, and actually just a few weeks ago, where we didn't have the level of engagement that we thought. And when I was talking to my husband, David, about it, he was basically saying, hey, I think maybe conceptually we understand the idea, but I don't think you were talking to the right audience. And he was right, because women automatically knew. We didn't have to teach them that they needed a will, but for another concept that we had kind of like an education gap. So it did not resonate the same way. So now I need to know how I either need to pivot, stop doing it, make some adjustments, or change my audience. So again, I say all that to say, make sure that you are flexible enough to pivot. Entrepreneurship takes a tremendous amount of flexibility. I have seen people hold on and sink ships because they're not willing to pivot and make some adjustments with their ideas. Okay. So again, engage with us at thankmelater.money, and also with me on social media at Jini Thornton, and also at TML Money. And let us know what questions you have, business, financial, entrepreneurship, or otherwise. We'd love to hear from you. And then also, please subscribe. Please let your family and friends know about the Thank Me Later show with me, Jini Thornton, where we are committed to helping you master your money and transform your life. Okay? So we will see you all next episode. And thank you again for listening. See y'all next time.